I'm on my own journey and I shared this on this channel. And I know that, my journey can be some form of maybe inspiration, maybe some form of lesson to some other person out there. I wish I had a channel like this when I was much younger. And I'm still young. I'm not that old anyway. But the point here is, if you are interested in that and you see yourself in the path that I've taken, you may learn from my journey as well. So feel free to stick around. Now, what I want to share in this video is this. When it comes to making money, there are set ways accessible to all of us. When I mean accessible, you don't generally need to have some talent. You don't need a rich dad to give you all the money to get started. You probably don't have to play the jackpot or lotto or whatever form of lottery out there. You don't have to do any of that. First one will be education. You see, your education is one of the things that can propel your life in your ability to make money. And if you have good education and you have good skills that you've acquired through the education, you are able to exchange that skill or that value for money. And that is the number one thing that I always, try to preach. Now, your education doesn't necessarily mean going to college, which I'm not saying that is bad, it's still good, but it could also be from some form of training. It could be some form of a certificate program. It could be a degree, right? It doesn't matter. But one thing I want you to keep in mind is that you may have very high level education, or you may go to the most expensive school. That doesn't necessarily translate to money. You may have a PhD, you may be a professor at a college. That doesn't necessarily translate to a lot of money, okay? The point here is the education and the amount of money you can generate from it will come from the value that somebody else is willing to pay for that skill or that education you've acquired. So the point here is spend time vetting the profession you're going to choose, all right? To spend time in vetting the opportunities that are available, because that will determine how much money you can command. And of course, timing is also everything, right? Some skills were not valuable 10 years ago, but now they are in demand. And those things you have to account for them, but you have to do your best with those. So that's the first one. The second thing is stock market. I talk about the stock market because this is an avenue for you to put some money into something and let it grow over time. The stock market has done so well this year and for the past couple of years. I mean, apart from the pandemic, of course, and apart from the market crashes that occurred in 2008 and 2001 and the likes. But the point here is you have the opportunity to put your money into something without you actively working on that thing and see it grow in value. Once you have your education or you have a skill that you can exchange for money, no matter how little, you want to start putting some money into the stock market. Don't try to save a lot of money. Yes, save enough to cover your emergencies if possible. Save enough to pay down some debt if possible. But as soon as you can, start putting money into the stock market. The stock market has performed so well over the course of years that you literally don't have to do anything but put money into it and you make money. So that is the second way. The third one is real estate. Real estate has been the solid investment for those that did it right. I'm talking about buying the place, for example, and maybe renting it out and letting it just sit over time, letting the debt get paid down. That is always a solid thing. And I know that, this current market can be a bit tricky with interest rates being very high and housing being very high, but it's always been a solid investment to make if you get in the right market and at the right time. Don't think that you can't make money in real estate, or don't think you can make money in the stock market, because it's all about getting yourself exposed into those areas and learning about them, and then you can put money into them when the time is right. But if you are not even educating yourself, then how would you make money? All right. And the last thing that I'll share with you is a business. A business can trickle out from any of these areas I've mentioned, whether it's real estate, you can start a business in that. You can start a business when it comes to investing and sharing your knowledge. You can start a business based on your education as well. But these 4 areas have always been places where people have made a lot of money. And don't get me wrong, you could lose money as well, but the chances of making money are much higher because value is being exchanged in all of this. In your education, you will gain some value. So like they say, no education is wasted. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So that is one part. The second thing is with stock market, yes, if you put your money into a well-diversified fund, you're likely not going to lose money. Now, if you try to pick specific companies and you play some high-risk games, you may lose money, but overall, you're likely to do well long term. When it comes to real estate, not buying something that is way too expensive, not buying something that is dirt cheap or in a terrible neighborhood will generally hold its value, and the value will likely go up over time. So you like chances of getting it wrong slim. And when it comes to starting a business, if you start something that you are familiar with, your chances of making money and succeeding will also increase. So my urge to you today is, in these 4 areas that I've just shared with you, what can you pick and start with? Whether it's your education, whether it's investing in the stock market, whether it's the real estate, pick something that stands out to you, that interests you, and start working towards it. Now, once you build a good foundation in one, it is always a good advice, or it's always a good advice to move into another asset or type of asset. Think about it this way. Education can land you a job. Maybe you get a degree and then you get a job in a field. Over time, you may get laid off. The business you're working for may close down. You want to be able to transition into something else or have something to fall back on. So for example, if you've been investing in the stock market, that may be something that you may transition into. If you have real estate investments, that might be something that will support you in time being. If you have dividend paying stocks, that might be something that may give you some money during the time you are in a place of searching for another job. And of course, if you have a business, that may be something that you can use. So the point here is, sticking to one is generally not a good idea. Yes, you want to build it to a point where it can maybe sustaining itself if possible. In this case, if you have a job, you start a job, you get comfortable in that job, and then you start the next thing on the side, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's a side business, whether it's a side education to gain more qualifications, something of that sort. Because once you stay in one place and you're not exposed to these other areas, you're likely to get caught, and that's not what you want. And that's why it's always a good idea to look into other areas, diversify, learn about other investments, and put your money into them as well, because without taking action, you won't get a result. I thought to share this with you. If you have found value in the video, please don't forget to drop a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you have, great ideas on how you can make money or how you have been making money, then share it in the comment section. Let the world benefit from it. I'll see you in the next one.